Two Guys Take On Movies, and as you all know, we already saw X-Men Apocalypse, and we're gonna give you our review of it. And because there's a lot of talk on the internet about it, especially from critics and professional reviewers, and we are reviewers too, but we're not getting paid, so we consider ourselves fan reviewers. Ignore everything you heard so far about the movie being bad, about third act being underwhelming, or that it movie falls apart in the third act, because none of it is true, at least in our opinion. And the movie is great. Probably one of the best. Probably, listen to me. It's one of the best comic book movies that came out this year. I mean, by far. I didn't give a high rating to Deadpool, but you know what? I gave Civil War, I mean, 11 out of 10, and I gave Batman v Superman 8 out of 10. This movie gets a 10 out of 10 for me, even though it could be a 9, but as much as we talk about it off camera, the less stuff I find that makes this movie so bad that I would give it a 9. And you're the X-Men fan.
I'm the X-Men fan. For me, this is the movie I've been waiting for the whole year long. I enjoyed Civil War. Definitely a hell of a movie, but for me, it was the X-Men is currently the best movie that came out this year so far. There's, at least as far as the superhero genre is concerned. First act, second act, third act, you can name all the acts you want. Brian connects everything. The whole story makes sense, from the bad guy to the good guys to the in-between. Characters are... It's amazing how well developed they are.
Especially,
Even though for some of them it's their first reappearance. We get a younger version of Cyclops, Jean Grey.
and especially considering the amount of characters that we have in this movie too.
Oh yeah.
And they all get equal screen time.
Which was amazing, because usually when you get more characters, especially when it gets up to like 10 of them, you're stuck with like who gets screen time, who gets left out. There's no getting left out here.
It's
From
more
the minor ones of Angel and Nightcrawler. I call them minor, but the amount of screen time they get their own solo act.
It's more
as
like
well.
it's more like Civil War than Avengers: Age of Ultron, where Age of Ultron had limited amount of times, and therefore every character got less of a screen time. In Civil War, every character got almost equal screen time, and in this,
I wouldn't compare him to any of them, just from the fact that Brian was able to give them all
equal
the
time.
equal amount of screen time.
So
So you can't really say it's like this one or like that one, because honestly, to have this many characters, to have basically 2 hours and 24 minutes in a movie and give them all the screen time they deserve, to properly develop the characters, hats off, man. This is, for me, by far the best movie of the year.
And also the score sticks to the general X-Men score sound. It's very similar to the previous movies, and it keeps going throughout the whole movie. And I'm not gonna say it's almost like a character in and of itself, but the score is great and amazing. Definitely, whoever did the job on that one did a great job. As far as the continuity goes, if you saw all the previous X-Men movies, this is just another part of the story that will continue all the previous movies, including Days of Future Past, to what we saw in the first X-Men movie. Almost to it. It's almost there as far as the continuity goes. We're getting closer to that part of the continuity, even though we're gonna eventually get a different story than what we had in the first X-Men movie. And speaking of the first X-Men movies, to all of you who don't like Jennifer Lawrence, who don't like her mystique, you're barely gonna notice her in the movie because she gets equal amount of time, so it's like she's not gonna bother you that much. Also, to everybody who hated Cyclops in the first 3 movies, we all did. You're not gonna hate him anymore.
No, you're gonna hate him again? Like, not so much, but he's younger, so you're gonna be able to grow in that one. he's gonna annoy you because the thing is, if you watch the first three ones, the annoying part of Cyclops is still there. So even though it's a different character, different actor, it's still a little bit annoying.
Not to me. I liked him.
Sorry.
Where I
To
hated
me,
him.
it's still annoying. Like I just want somebody to slap him, but that didn't happen.
I didn't have that.
That
feeling.
would make it like
That-
if somebody slapped Cyclops at some point, it would be.
You know
Oh,
what?
yeah.
If somebody did it to this version of younger Cyclops, I feel kind of bad for
I
the
would.
guy.
I'd be like, yes, finally, somebody slapped him.
No, I liked him. I liked him, and I actually don't usually like Cyclops, but whether it's animated series or movies,
No, but he does a great job.
Jobs.
Ty Sheridan.
Yeah, Ty Sheridan.
Ty Sheridan,
Um,
yeah, does a great job with
and-
Cyclops.
Storm was also great, even though she was a minor character in this movie. I liked her better than Halle Berry.
Well, she definitely did a good job. The difference is the Apocalypse comes, he picks
Can
out
we talk about Apocalypse for a second?
Apocalypse,
Because
man.
I hear like these professional reviewers and critics, they are bothered by the fact that Apocalypse is godlike, and to them that is a problem because you can't emotionally connect with the character, blah blah blah, and this and that, and
Okay, so here's the thing. Paul Deveron Oscar Isaacs does a great job on Apocalypse. His premises is simple. He's able to transfer his essence into bodies of different mutants and keep the mutant power of his previous body. Therefore, over thousands of years, he transferred bodies more than 1,000 times.
this
as
is
the
a mild
story goes.
spoiler. This is a mild spoiler,
As the
but
story goes, sorry guys. And he was able to keep all the powers of the 1,000 mutants. So he has a lot of mutant powers. Therefore, when he steps onto the set, he is godlike. Correct. But the way Oscar does it, he's not just godlike. He's, I wouldn't say pure evil, just because you can't really call something pure evil.
no,
But-
he's not evil because
he's not-
he believes that what he's doing is good. So
He
it's like,
sees the world. He's been asleep for 4,000 years.
yeah,
And now he wakes up and he sees the world in which, in his words, the lesser beings are now ruling the world. And his job is to correct it, to basically annihilate human race and leave the mutants or enslave the human race. And he sees that as something that is right.
yeah.
And therefore, what he does is he brings these horsemen of apocalypse together. So he brings Storm, Psylocke,
Magneto, and
Angel.
Angel, yeah, which were all done great, by the way. Magneto and Charles Xavier,
They
great.
keep on the story
Yeah.
between
They're still the best part of the movie.
Magneto thinking he's bad and Charles trying to convince him that he's actually good.
Yeah, that keeps
That there
going
is- and that theme's been going since First Class, and
even before that.
I love it.
Yeah,
The way it's played out.
but
definitely love
yeah, in
But-
regards to Apocalypse, though, Oscar Isaacs did
it.
a
He
great job.
does a phenomenal job. As far as acting out a character goes, he's brilliant. He's amazing.
Yeah, he's in
He
character the whole
did
time.
nothing wrong as far as being in character. That's how good he is. Basically, everything. When you see him play out Apocalypse, you believe every second.
Yeah,
of it.
and you
That's,
won't tell.
you're like at no point you're like, this is a guy I want to mess around with, because you don't. It's like if this guy comes across your path, you're running the other way.
Yep, as you saw in, as you've seen in one of the trailers, and as you'll see in the movie. But at no point will you think, oh, this is that guy from Star Wars or wherever, because we saw him. He's been in movies over the last few years.
Oh
on
yeah,
and off, like,
he did Ex Machina. He did.
yeah, he did a whole bunch of movies. So
Yeah.
you're not even gonna notice it's him. So yeah, my rating is still 10 out of 10. So yeah, definitely go see it. I saw it in 2D. He saw it in 3D.
I saw him in 3D, and it's pure brilliance.
Yeah.
As far as yeah,
Visually,
I got no complaints whatsoever.
yeah,
If I
and
ever got my money's worth out of a movie ticket, I got my money's worth.
yeah, definitely. And the more we talk about the movie, though,
The
I'm we,
better it gets.
yeah. So
That's how good he is. I mean, hats off.
yeah, we definitely see it more times, but our budgets are constrained, so we can go see movies more times. We wish we could,
But
but we can't.
if we had, this would be one like you just do it all day long.
Sinestar, if you're watching this, if we could get free passes, I mean,
Yeah.
on and off. I mean,
You want to talk about more about characters, or you want to keep this short?
koliko ide već?
10 minuta. 11 skoro.
You want to do characters quickly? You
Yeah,
want to do characters?
yeah,
I
let's
mean,
do
we
characters.
had basically the star man himself, Mr. Quick himself, gets two, not one, not two solo acts
Solo
and
scenes.
solo scenes, and they're more perfectly done than the Days of Future Past one.
Although the second one,
Second one is shorter. The
Yeah.
first one you see the full brilliance of Apocalypse. Of Quicksilver.
Quicksilver, yeah.
And the thing they asked Brian about it, and they asked him once who'd spend the most time on set, and I think he
Yeah.
said he was.
3 months long.
They taped a single scene for like 3 months, and it's
It
about a
paid
minute
off.
long. But man, what a scene!
Yeah, I'd compare it.
You fall in love with Quicksilver all over
And
again.
I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna compare it. Even though there are not that many similarities, it's not an action scene where he fights someone. That first Quicksilver scene, but it's equal in greatness to the airport scene in Civil War.
Then we get Moira back. Moira's back, the CIA agent. She's kind of in the thick of it.
Yeah,
She's one of the reasons why Apocalypse wakes
yeah.
up.
She skipped X-Men
She
Days of
skipped
Future
the-
Past. So if you saw
And
Apocalypse,
if you
No,
saw First Class,
Class, yeah.
probably did. At the end of the movie, Charles wipes her memory of all the
and
events
this is
that
a
happened in
spoiler
the
for
movie.
First Class. So if you
She
haven't
doesn't
seen
remember
it-
what happens. So when she steps onto the scene, she knows Charles Xavier is a professor. She read all his works, but she doesn't remember what happened in the First Class. So that
yeah.
adds intrigue to the movie. We got Horseman did great, man. We get the man himself makes an appearance in full brutality.
Yeah, how can we forget the best X-Men ever?
My favorite X-Man, Wolverine himself.
Short
He goes-
cameo.
He
Short
gets a cameo, but he kills everybody. Like everybody. He just kills people. Like Slash and
That's
everything.
a spoiler, but it's like
Like, for me, that was the
there's
best.
way too
That
many
was
spoilers in this one.
when they showed him at the end of the
Can we
trailer,
talk
and
about
they're
Jean
like,
Grey?
Sophie Turner.
Sophie Turner.
Sophie Turner.
Most
She-
people know her as Sansa Stark of Game of Thrones fame, but I didn't like Jean. I never
she
really liked
rules.
Jean Grey, but
She took the role and she made it her own.
definitely.
From the start to the finish, in the start acting the
She
kind
can
of
act.
the wacky girl that nobody really is like into because she's got these strange powers to basically after getting a little
Nightmares.
yeah she gets nightmares.
I mean, you saw it in the
but,
trailer. It's not
and
really
then towards the
that
end
much
of the
a
movie,
spoiler.
she really grows into not just her role as Jean Grey, but also the powers.
that are hidden inside of her that she doesn't even know are
And
there.
then she lets go, and
And
the
there was
end of
there
it
I was
is-
quoting Kevin Smith.
and the end of it, she's phenomenal. She rolls.
My favorite
did.
Jean Grey so far because I never liked Jean Grey as a character. It's like whenever I see her, I'm just, can we get over with you?
Yeah, but
This-
Sophie did a heck of a job.
Yeah.
Michael Fassbender. I
He's
like his.
Magneto
I
gets
like his.
another.
He's
yeah.
doing even better job at Magneto than I ever thought he could. He's really tapping into the human side.
Yeah.
As weird as that sounds for a mutant, he taps into the human side a lot in this one. And yes, he does join the Horsemen of the Apocalypse, but towards the end, he really does come around.
God, I wish you hadn't said that, but too many spoilers in this one.
Yeah.
Too many spoilers. I
We should
didn't.
stop talking because like this can go on all day.
Yeah, yeah. I'm probably not gonna post this on Facebook though, because it's just already too long. So, it came. The movie already made over 100 million bucks
I didn't
worldwide.
check. It came
Worldwide.
out here like a week ago.
So yeah.
So,
To all
You
of
don't get it till like Friday, I think, but we.
Yeah, if you get chance to see it before Friday, just do it because it's worth the money. And
And if you like have money, like go see a couple of times.
yeah, of course,
It's worth it.
Uh,
Definitely worth it. Like I'm said, for me, this is the
Yeah.
best movie of the year.
well, yeah. To me, obviously, it's Civil War, but this is right next to it because we haven't
is
seen that
better.
many
This
movies
is better.
this year. Well, you're the X-Men guy. Yeah. Go see the movie. Yeah, I apologize for the spoilers. I really do.
We try to do a spoiler free, but the thing is, you can't really. Like you can always, you're gonna have to hint some stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, I apologize.
But if
in
you're watching
advance.
this, you probably read like 19 different articles over the last
Week at least
2 days, so you know you know stuff already. So
Yeah,
not that big of a spoiler thing.
Yeah, which, yeah,
And we
I-
throw spoilers around way too much. Like you know what? Just go see the movie.
yeah, because it's like I watched some of these. Like I mentioned Kevin Smith earlier, and whenever he reviews something, he always does spoiler reviews, and I hate him for it. I'm like, dude, you could at least.
Sometimes it's hard to
And
do.
now I'm doing the same thing, and
Just go watch the movie.
go.
That's
go,
simple.
Go.
Just go watch the movie.
We'll see you hopefully for the Warcraft movie, if not sooner. So
No, you gotta wait.
hopefully I get to see it, but we'll see. Yeah, I finally got a job. Go see the movie.
Yeah, like see the movie and then
And-
see it again and again and again and again. If somebody's gonna take your money, just let Brian take your money.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth it.
And what's all this? Yeah, and I keep hearing like I don't want Brian to do New Mutants or the next X-Men movie. What's up with that?
Here's the thing: if they let Brian take over the franchise,
Come on, people.
just let Brian take over the franchise. The guy knows what he's doing. Obviously, he knows what he's doing. And as far as fans being concerned or fans being freaking out and being offended, well, guess what? No matter who takes over the franchise, fans are still going to be offended. That's how this world works. Everybody gets offended.
There are always
Brian
things you're not
and-
gonna like in
Brian knows
certain
what he's
places.
doing, so
And he knows the material.
he knows what he's doing.
I
And
mean-
he's doing a phenomenal job. He
Yeah.
did the X2,
He did the first two X-Men movies.
and then Last Stand, he didn't do Last Stand, and then Last Stand sucked because Brian didn't do it.
Actually,
You want to do X3 again? Because that's what happens when you take Brian off of X-Men movie. And then he really got
and,
his stuff
yeah,
together
he
as
didn't
far
do,
as
He
First
didn't
Class.
do First Class. Matthew Vaughn did First Class, and
That was good. That
we
set
can
up.
talk. I can talk about Matthew Vaughn for days.
Yeah.
But
But just let Brian have his fun. Like, just sign over the whole thing for him and just say, you know what, you're doing a great job. Keep on doing it.
yeah, and I would love to see him and Tim Miller just do an X-Men and Deadpool movie crossover, because that's gonna eventually
It's going to happen. And right now, it wouldn't happen.
Okay. Because we're on the topic. Because they're talking about rebooting Wolverine, and we know it's X-23 gonna be his next Wolverine because she's basically Wolverine. Who do you want it to be?
New Wolverine?
Yeah, new X-23.
You mean as far as actors who are
Yeah.
going to play X-23? I don't know. I have thought about it, but I really haven't thought about it because
Oh,
they do.
stay for this.
Oh yeah,
He's-
the after credit scene. There's no mid credit scene, but there is an after credit scene, and I
And-
don't know what it sets up, but it sets
He's
it up
he's
nicely.
setting up something.
And you probably already know what it's setting up because come on, you read the articles, you know what's happening. You probably read about the scene.
Yeah, if you're not an X-Men
So-
fan, it may not mean much to you, but once you check out what
But
SX
he would.
Corporation is, you'll get a nice idea.
But here's the thing with Hugh Jackman's next Wolverine movie. He's going to be his last Wolverine movie. They're gonna do Old Man Logan, or so they say. But they're not gonna
They
do.
can do Old Man Logan.
They're gonna do something similar to Old Man Logan because they're gonna have to change the story some because they don't have the rights to all the characters that show up in
Yeah.
Old Man Logan. With the after credit scene done for the Apocalypse, it's obvious that X-23 is probably gonna show up at some point.
Yeah.
And she might take the mantle of Wolverine because let's face it,
We need one.
getting a new Wolverine and just casting somebody outright is not gonna work just
No.
because Hugh did such an amazing job with the role.
If there is an iconic character, Hugh
He,
Jackman
he
as
owned
Wolverine, is
he
one
owned
of
that
those.
he owned that character
Yeah.
and he grew into it from
That's why they
First
gotta
Wolverine-
go with the X-23 because she's essentially Wolverine, even though she's herself.
yeah.
But
Then doing as far as who they cast
yeah,
as X-23, I haven't given it much thought.
yeah.
There's probably a lot of
I would cast a young actress like in
I
her
would definitely
20s,
go with
like
young,
in her 20s.
just so that way you're gonna have her showing up for like next 20, 30 years. She's gonna be unless you kill her off or whatever.
Or whatever they
And
choose
then
to
you
do
also
with the
have to
franchise.
think what's gonna happen is you're gonna have to think about the existing characters and their contracts.
Yeah,
Jennifer Lawrence, James McAvoy, and Michael Fassbender.
Yeah.
This was their last X-Men movie. They're not contracted to do anymore. And they recently, they talked to Jennifer Lawrence about it. For a while, she was saying she doesn't want to do it. Now she came out and said that the way they agreed, she did talk to James and Michael about it, and they say if we come back, we all come back.
and I don't think that's gonna fly.
But the thing
with
is-
the studio though, you know, it's like you either
But the
take
thing
all of
is,
us or you take none of
the
us.
the way they did develop the characters, I would hate for somebody else to come in and take over those roles.
Although I can understand if they go with someone else's Mystique because she's a shapeshifter and they can.
They
she
can
take-
easily do it. Yeah, they can
It's
keep
like-
the
as far as
character and
Mystique
just say
goes,
she just
yeah.
change faces.
Yeah.
But the way those actors did grow into the characters, I would love for the studio to keep them. Of course, it's not my call, but
If it
they
only worked.
really did do a great job. Brian also said that the next set of the X-Men movies is going to jump into the 90s. The current trilogy, let's call it a trilogy, is set in
It's-
the 80s.
No, the Apocalypse was in the 80s. The First Class was in
Yeah,
the 60s. Days of Future Past was in 70s. So
Next one happens in the 90s. That's what Brian did say. And we also have a Gambit movie coming out. And the thing with the Gambit movie
Are you sure?
we're getting a Gambit movie.
I don't think so.
The last thing that happened with the Gambit movie is after the whole Channing wants more money to we're not doing anything, the script is wrong. The last news coming from that is they made another change to the script because of the Deadpool movie. Because when Deadpool movie came out, when it came out rated R, and when it still did a fantastic job at the box office, the studio is gonna do. I don't know whether
Is
it's
that
gonna be
official,
fully R, but they did.
Did they
change-
say they're doing
they-
a Gambit movie?
They're doing a Gambit movie, and
Does that
they're
mean
making
nothing,
it
so-
a heist movie. So it's gonna be
Okay.
an X-Men heist movie.
With Gambit in it.
With
that
Gambit
could-
in
yeah.
it.
And
And
because
then
they're
we
going
have to see what they're gonna do with the movie and how they're gonna tie it into the X-Men. Because having a Gambit character and not having joined the X-Men,
that
kind
could-
of, because Gambit is a fan favorite.
Oh, definitely.
Fans love him, so
I-
not having
yeah.
him in the actual X-Men movie would.
And because they're going into the 90s, he was part of the X-Men in the 90s in the animated series, which we grew up on. We didn't
Oh,
grow up
yeah.
reading the comic books because,
We didn't have comic books.
We
We had
didn't-
animated series.
yeah, thank
Those-
God.
Oh
but
yeah,
it's
at least
like-
we have something.
Yeah, and we grew up on it, and I like saw the somebody linked the video to the opening of that just today. I was like, man, this
Brings out memories.
I'm gonna have to do a top 10 cartoon list for myself
Yeah.
one of these days.
So
like,
back to the X-Men. We have to see what they do because Wolverine's gone, or he's gonna be gone, and Wolverine has been the face of the franchise so far.
Yep.
He's the guy who had starting roles in all the movies, most of the movies. He cameoed in the in First Class and Apocalypse. But everything else, he has been centered to the basically everything that's happening with the X-Men
and
franchise. And now that he's leaving, the question was, who takes over?
Yeah.
Who's the fate? And then
I can easily see Jean Grey and Cyclops taking over, the young ones.
well, here's the thing: when Gambit was first announced,
Yeah,
there were
but
some rumors floating around that they're gonna send her. I know he doesn't fit, but we're gonna have to see what they do with him. Also, the way they set up Apocalypse with Mystique's role in it, she kind of leads. Not just by example, but she's actually leading.
That doesn't happen.
So
yeah,
you're gonna have to see how that happens, and we're gonna have to see what happens with X-23, how they bring her in, whether she's a villain to begin with, and then
she probably will. That
makes the most sense because it is Mr. Sinister that
yeah,
creates
they're gonna
her.
send it. Yeah, they're gonna send her to kill everybody in the X-Mansion or something like that, and Professor's gonna stop her or freeze her. She's gonna run away, and then she'll conscious subject her or something, and
so we're gonna have to see like what happens. The way they, you know, but he's gonna be just let Brian do it. That's all I have.
community.
All I'm saying.
Yeah,
All I'm saying is just let Brian do it because he knows what he's doing so far. So
yeah.
let the man do his job.
And this went on longer than I thought it would or expected it would be. I
We're
tried
just
to
gonna
keep these
split
videos
it.
shorter.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna split. I'm just gonna do it as one podcast. I'm gonna, let us know how you like the X-Men, how you like Apocalypse.
If you don't
what
like it
think
the
of
first time around, just go watch it again.
Yeah, if you
And
don't.
if that doesn't work, just do it again. Like eventually, you're gonna like the movie.
Yeah, it's like, come on.
Yeah.
But leave some comments below. Talk to us about a movie. Follow me on social media, subscribe, share. Let's talk X-Men. Come on, peeps. You can do it. Come on.
Just go watch the
Yeah. Peace out.